大家好，欢迎来到我的小博客。Hi, welcome to my channel. So you've decided to learn Chinese. Good choice. Challenging, but extremely rewarding. I just love that feeling when indecipherable characters turn into meaningful signs. That feeling is the best. So how do you start learning? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the very first steps you absolutely need to take to avoid burnout and common mistakes that beginners make. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share 3 great free language learning resources. So let's go! Step number 1, set a learning goal.
Now all this could be yours later if you set your goals and work hard.
I simply cannot stress enough how an achievable, measurable goal is important, especially at the beginning when you just start. Otherwise, you simply risk running out of motivation really fast. Without a goal, you may give up really quickly or become frustrated that you're not making any progress. Find something that you want to achieve after, say, 6 or 8 weeks of study. Because 6 to 8 weeks is normally the average amount of time you need to run out of your initial motivation, of that first drive when you say, oh my god, I'm gonna learn Chinese, and then 6-8 weeks later you're like, it's hard, I'm not making any progress. Nothing will happen if I skip this week, and then it repeats again and again and you give up eventually. So at this time it is especially important that you say, oh, I have a small achievement, I've already come a long way, so I should go on. How to pick such a goal? It must be measurable. Think about how many hours a week you want to commit to Chinese. You can actually commit to Chinese classes, and then think of an achievement that you expect to get if you study this amount of hours a week for the next 6 or 8 weeks. For beginners, it can be, say, speak Chinese for 5 or 10 minutes without resorting to English. Or if you feel uncomfortable talking at such an early stage, that's okay too. Pick something that makes you comfortable, like I'm gonna finish 10 lessons of this textbook, or I'm gonna write a short story about my weekend, 10 sentences long. Go for something very specific and then adjust this goal every 6 to 8 weeks. Step number 2, learn pinyin and tones. Don't think that pronunciation is a waste of time. Please, no. I understand that you want to speak as much, you want to say as many things as possible, but if you pronounce all these words wrongly, nobody's gonna understand you, and all this effort of memorizing all those words will be absolutely in vain.
Pronunciation very good.
Chinese has a pretty complex phonetical system. There are many unique sounds, and I'm sure your native tongue does not have tones either. So take your time, practice pinyin, practice tones as much as possible at the very first stages. It's a base that you need to set early on. It will be 10 times more difficult and more frustrating to return to it when you go and realize that people just don't understand you. Remember that fixing bad pronunciation is much more difficult than spending some time to acquire good pronunciation habits from the very beginning. Step number 3, find a good textbook. You actually need only one, but it has to be a good one. And by good, I mean it needs audio. This is non-negotiable. You need to listen to new words, texts, and yes, you do need to do all those listening exercises. If you study on your own, make sure your textbook has answers, or at least you can find somebody who can check your work. Step number 4, download a flashcard app. I still prefer Anki. It has a very simple interface, but for me it works the best. There are tons of them on the market, so try several and pick whichever one works for you. As you begin, you meet new words in a textbook, your teacher teaches you new words, maybe you pick some words from language learning apps. Be sure to put in all this vocabulary in your flashcard app and review regularly. One important thing here, I do not recommend ready decks with like those lists of words, because I think it is absolutely useless to learn lists of words if you did not meet them in context. So make your own customized decks with words that you are learning right now, words that you know how to use, you know how to pronounce, words that you have met in context. Only those words which you learn in context, they stick in your memory. Otherwise, well, memorizing lists just does not work. Step number 5, get a workbook for Chinese characters.
Right.
Chinese characters might be frustrating for those who don't pay them enough respect, who don't pay them enough attention. But from my teaching and learning experience, Chinese characters can become like the most favorite aspect of the language if you understand the logic behind them. Because once you do that, they become like the best mind teasers ever. Get a good book or downloadable worksheets with the origin of the character, its structure, composition, stroke order of the most common characters. Learning the stroke order is very important at the very beginning, even if you don't actually write the words anymore, right? You type them on your smartphone, on your laptop. You don't write them by hand, but such exercise helps you remember and classify the characters according to the components, and it will help you remember the meaning and the pronunciation of the characters as you accumulate a critical mass of components. Now, as I promised, the free resources that will help you kickstart your Chinese. The first one is Tu Chinese. It has lots of free content. It's a listening and reading app, has a built-in dictionary, has a lovely interface, and there's lots of content from elementary to advanced. The second one is Pleco. I think it's the best dictionary that is available out there. Huge base of words, different input methods, lots of examples. So perfect for beginners. And the last one is a huge grammar resource, Chinese Grammar Wiki. If you have a grammar question, this is the resource you want to go to. Remember to hit the subscribe button to get more language learning tips from me, and I'll see you next time. 谢谢大家耐心观看，下次再见，拜拜。